So we now come to our second presentation, which is given by Gabriel Lencioni. And Gabriel is a veterinarian, and he's working toward his PhD at the University of Sao Paulo in Brazil. He is an IAABC certified behavior consultant and a certified fear-free elite professional for dogs, cats, and horses. Gabriel has focused specially on pain assessment in horses using artificial intelligence, among other things, such as learning theory, solving unwanted behaviors, ethical training, fear-free methodologies for veterinary interventions. And today he's going to talk to us briefly on the use of deep learning to understand horse emotions. So Gabriel, I will turn it over to you.
So thank you very much. It's great to have this opportunity to talk to you about my project. So as Katrina presented, I'm developing my PhD right now, and it's related to understanding better emotions in horses through the use of artificial intelligence. So I'm doing it at the University of Sao Paulo in Brazil. And just for you to meet a little bit better our team, I'm being supervised by Professor Eduardo Zanella. And this is also Anna, who is doing her PhD with foals here in Brazil as well. And this is the AI team that we are all working together. And well, throughout my background in vet school, I got very much interested in behavior, and I got those certifications with Fear-Free and IABC. And I started doing most of this research while I was still an undergraduate, and started learning also about AI and how it could benefit us in the behavior field as well. So I guess it's really important for us to understand how we could better use AI, since sometimes we have people from the AI world who don't know anything about horses, and we do from the behavior field or the animal welfare field, sometimes we don't know much about AI. So it's important for us to try and put both things together. So here's just one example of the first paper that we published on that. So it was a system able to assess pain automatically in horses using the basis of the horse Grimmie scale. And to do this study, we captured images of horses days before and after their castration. They were all castrated in the same day and received analgesia regularly as they would normally, but there were still signs of pain and discomfort. So we used this data set to build the data set that we were going to train the AI. So with this data set of signs of pain for any all the parameters that we were using, we managed to get these signs of absent pain, moderate pain, and obviously present pain for those three parameters of ears, eyes, and mouth and nostrils. And by the end of the study, we managed to reach 75.8% of accuracy when assessing pain on 3 levels, and 88.3% when assessing only the absence or presence of pain. Systems like this one would be really helpful on a daily basis to be able to look for the horses 24/7, for example, in hospital settings, and be able to detect pain or other signals early. So it would be very important. I also added here some of the other metrics that some of you could be interested, but if you want to see it in more details, you have that on the paper as well. But I'd just like to point out here some of them. So basically, if we look here in the absence of pain, and here how the algorithm classified and how it was classified by us, we get the number of times that the system was actually right. So it's really interesting to point out that most of the mistakes, so here in the orange spots here, are in the neighbor class of the one that we wanted. So it's actually a good thing that it was almost no mistake to the furthest class here. So it means that the system was able to see something. And this happened also in the moderate present pain and in the obviously present pain. So there were no mistakes saying, for example, that the horse didn't have pain but some that were obvious said it was moderate. So that's very helpful for us. And after that, I participated in this other review looking at computer vision methods to assess not only pain, but also emotions in all kinds of animals. And I definitely recommend this one for someone who's trying to better understand how those things work and how we could be maybe capturing our data in a better way to be used for AI solutions. And I would also like to thank for this opportunity, use this space for that. We held one of the workshops, as Katrina mentioned, at the ISS conference back in New Zealand earlier this year. And we basically did that because it was a really important thing for us to talk to the experts there and to try and help us build this ground truth of what we are actually teaching the system. So this really helps us to be able to teach the right things for the system. And it was really interesting to see everyone's views on the videos that we assessed there. So we had 10 experts that assessed 240 videos even before the workshop. And then we got to the workshop where we had everyone there assessing the videos between positive, negative, and neutral affective states. And it was really interesting because one of our main findings was that everyone had higher consensus on assessing negative states, which I believe it makes sense that we are kind of better at recognizing negative states, and we still don't have many references in terms of positive signs in the ridden horse. And this is very, very important because if we have unbalanced or unreal data sets, we'll end up creating biased artificial intelligence systems. So I put those dogs here to show just one of those examples. When we have a data set to build an AI, if we don't teach it using all of those differences, so let's say in terms of morphology, those dogs can be very different. And this happens as well with horses. So they do have difference in morphology, coat color, even sometimes the structure where they are, the equipment that they're using, and all of those differences have to be inputted on the artificial intelligence systems in order to be able to work well. And this is just one example of many studies that have proved that some AI systems can kind of carry human prejudice together. So many companies that were using, for example, AI to select their resumes and all, they're not doing that, or they're trying to make it in a better way because some of them found that the AI had actually discriminatory hiring practices as well. So it's a very important thing to pay attention, and that's why assessing with the experts and being sure what we are teaching the AI is very important. Here is one example of those applications being done by another professor in our university, here in University of São Paulo, where, oh, go back to video. Not sure why it's not going on. Oh yeah, now it works. But yeah, they are using automated systems to help assess sleep patterns in horses. So this is very helpful, and it would usually take a very long time. So this is one really interesting application for the artificial intelligence systems, for example. And with my the study that I'm doing in my PhD, our aim is to use those automated indicators and to use the AI to help us improve and enhance the welfare standards in competitions. So helping us to better understand and have an objective measure to assess not only negative, but positive and any other indicators that would help us benefit and build better standards in equine sports. So I'm sure that you all know lots of possibilities where this could be used and different modalities and all of that. So it's really, really interesting for us to kind of think through these lenses now. So right now we are doing the labeling part on our system, which is basically training the AI And this can take a very long time, but we are developing the model, and hopefully I'll be able to update you soon on our findings. And basically, the briefly explaining this whole idea is that we could be using, as we have in other sports, for example, with the virtual referees, for example, to help us bring in new and better things for equine sports too. So here's just to thank all of our partners and also the whole collaboration with ISIS and with Professor Natalie Warren and Kami Helaski for all the help with the workshop and the project. And if we still have time for some questions, I'm happy to answer them. And feel free also to contact me if you want to know more about it or exchange some ideas about it. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much, Gabriel. That was very interesting. I know it's an area that I'm very interested in. We do have a few minutes for questions, and there are a couple in the chat. So the first question is, can the AI evaluation of pain do the whole horse doing a performance? For example, I learned from a classical dressage rider that even how the horse is flexing its pastern during a test can indicate tightness and discomfort.
Yeah, exactly. This is mostly the aim of my PhD study. So that first study that we did, and they're published, it was based on facial expressions only. But now we want to look on the whole body language of the horse and see what this could help us in terms of equine sports. So helping identify all of those aspects for sure.
Yeah, exactly. Second question is, how do you balance negative and positive emotions?
This is the tricky part, I guess. And we have seen some studies and many people talking about that also in the conference earlier this year. And I think this is where research is going now, not only with horses, but trying to better understand emotions. And my aim is that with the AI, we might have this objective tool to help us better understand that. So even the data set that we are looking into, maybe the AI will help us see some patterns that we couldn't recognize on the naked eye or with the knowledge that we have nowadays.
Exactly. Another question, because we know there are close similarities between pain and chronic stress in terms of brain architecture and endocrine signatures, do you think we will be able do you think we will be able to discriminate between these two phenomena in the future?
Well, we could try to do that in the future, but the most difficult part would be standardizing if it's pain or if it's discomfort or what is actually happening, because it's even difficult to have physiological parameters for that. So right now, in my study, we're not trying to differentiate any of that. We're just looking at affective states in general. So if there is any level of pain or discomfort, then it would need to be further studied. But we would at least be identifying that the horse is showing some kind of discomfort or is relaxed, or basically give us some information for us to dig further on it.
Great. And the last question that we have, do you envision AI being used in judging dressage, for example, much like judges in figure skating are being able to review the required elements?
Yes, I believe that it could be used, and I don't think it would maybe be a substitute for judges, but it could definitely help judges because they are seeing lots of things at the same time. And in many other sports, we are now using it to help judges make better calls in terms of that. So I think that AI could be very helpful with that.
Interesting. Maybe it would be very helpful in training judges as well.
Yeah, for sure. And maybe even helping trainers to better understand and see their horses during training sessions and things like that. So, yeah.
Yeah, excellent. Thank you so much, Gabriel. That was very
Thank
interesting.
you very much.